wonder as a leader, why is it that I feel like I'm charging uphill with a herd of elephants in flip-flops backwards? I'm not making any progress. There's a whole lot of effort, but I'm not seeming to gain any ground for all the effort that I put in. It's not that I'm not working hard. I just don't see the results of what I'm doing. Why is it that we as leaders seem to find that challenge never ends? It never ends. There's never a day when you put your feet up as a leader and go, yeah, I did it. I've arrived. I'm finally there. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. And I think one of the reasons that that's true is because we all have this genuine truth about our lives that no matter how long we live, we've got just a little more to improve on. We've got just a little more to do. And since we don't know how long we have to live, we also don't know how much time we have left to get just a little better. So if, as a leader, you're doing what you should be as a leader, and that is constantly growing yourself so that you're a better somebody to add value to other people, if that's the case, then, well, the job is never done. I mean, look at me. There's a lot of work to be done here. Look at you. Maybe there's a lot of work to be done there too. I mean, I'm just saying. I heard somebody say this weekend, I thought it was brilliant. In fact, I told him I'll probably steal his quote for some of my stories. He said, I thank God for the challenges, the problems, the faults, the flaws that I have. I thank God every day for the flaws that I have. Not because I like having flaws, but because I'm glad that I have my flaws and not your flaws, because I couldn't handle your flaws. Let that sink in for a minute and ask yourself, are you actually grateful for the challenges that you have? Because at least you know what the challenges are you have, right? I mean, are you aware enough to realize that the challenges that you have are yours and yours alone, that they're uniquely yours? See, when we think about leading people, we often think, well, I'd love to have that larger audience. I'd love to have all of those people that everybody else is talking to and influencing and making differences in their life and adding value. I want that big, gigantic, enormous audience. But sometimes we forget that with that audience comes all the headache of all of those people. I mean, you think I lead a small business, or I lead a small church, or I lead a small community. And then you ask yourself, well, if it wasn't, Lampasas, Texas, where I was the mayor, maybe it could be Abilene. Well, that'd be awesome. It's a much bigger town. Obviously, the paycheck is bigger, the influence is bigger, and so are the problems. And if you go from Abilene to, say, Dallas, Fort Worth, the problems are just bigger. There's more of them. That doesn't mean nobody should want that job. What it means is that if you think you're climbing uphill backwards with a herd of elephants in your flip-flops right now, move to a bigger location. Pick a bigger audience and see what happens. Because in the same way that you're trying to challenge yourself to grow and add value to yourself right now, the minute you expand your audience, you got to be ready for more. Because now you're not just talking about more people. You're talking about more problems. You're also talking about a more diverse audience, because just by nature, the bigger the audience is, the less likely they're exactly the same. Think about it. That's why in niche marketing, we talk about finding that avatar, that one person or group of people that represents everything you're trying to accomplish. Then you can talk to them. You can speak to them specifically in their language. When you go to Africa, there are a lot of different languages, a lot of different dialects. I met people in the city of Kinshasa who spoke 4, 5, and 6 languages because they had to. I met some who spoke Swahili. There are not a lot of people on the planet that speak Swahili. But if you can speak Swahili, you can talk to that targeted audience in a way that nobody else can, if they don't speak Swahili. In India, I believe there are some 10,000 languages and dialects. Billions of people, but tens of thousands of languages and dialects. As leaders, the more you expand that audience, the more you're responsible for. One of the challenges we do have as leaders is the ability to simply say, I'm going to diligently lead the people in my circle of influence. I'm going to work very hard to be a deep and impactful leader in the lives of people that I've been assigned to, the ones right in front of me, the ones that I see every day, the ones in my family, the ones in my immediate workplace, the ones that I travel with on a regular basis, maybe if you get on the train every day. But see, think about the impact that you make in the people you have immediate access to. You don't have to go through social media. You don't have to learn another language. You don't have to build a video studio. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just have to be nice to the people that you see every day. You just have to love on the people that you see every day. You've got to be engaged with the people you see every day. I had a conversation this weekend, and the lady said to me that you don't know how big my voice can be. I get practice by yelling at my kids, and I have to do that a lot. Well, look, a mom with 3 little kids under the age of 5, yeah, you're going to get a lot of practice at raising your voice, maybe more than you need to. I know I did. I needed to grow up and learn that yelling isn't the only way to get them to comply. Unfortunately, my 2 older children, my daughters, experienced most of their life at home with me being the person yelling. As my sons grew up, they saw a different side of me because I grew up. Again, part of the challenge we have as leaders is that we often forget we need to expand and we need to grow and we need to stretch and we need to be better and we need to add value to ourselves and we need to improve because the audience that we're serving deserves it. Whether it's 4 or 400, whether it's 4 or 4,000, 4 or 4 million, the audience we're serving deserves us to improve, deserves us to get better. And the bigger the audience, the more you're going to have to improve. And when you realize that you've got a finite amount of time, we don't know how many days we have in our lives. We can't add more days to our life. We can just add more life to each day. We can spend less time being lazy and more time being engaged, less time being pitiful and more time being powerful, less time being discouraged and more time encouraging others. And I think you'll find as a leader, the more you grow yourself in those ways, the more impact you'll have and lead the people that you're intended to serve, the ones that you're intended to lead, those in your niche market, maybe by relationship, maybe by geography, maybe by skills and talent, maybe by vocation. But if you will lead the ones that are closest to you as you grow, as you become a better leader, then you'll also see that sphere of influence expand. And it may not even be expanding in front of your eyes. For some people it is. Simon Sinek did a video on TED Talk and instantly became not instantly, but over a period of time, became world famous as a leader and a spokesperson for people who are trying to change culture in their workplace. And he's done a phenomenal job growing into that instantly expanded audience. There are other people, though, who have worked really hard, marketed really hard, pushed really hard, gotten thousands, millions of views on their videos, millions of people following them, people bought their books, and then found out they did a great job of marketing, but the leadership behind it, the content behind it, the depth behind it, the person behind it wasn't as big as the marketing. Oh, it's possible to lead millions of people. It's also possible to be a disastrous failure when millions of people are paying attention to you. And I believe it was Britney Spears who at one point threw her hands up, maybe it was Miley Cyrus, and said, "I'm not trying to be a role model, I'm just trying to live my life." Yeah, but now you're in the fishbowl and there's millions of people watching every move you make and listening to every word you say, and they're mimicking you. Listen, leaders, if you want to expand that realm of influence, it's a whole lot better to grow you as you do it, rather than just try to get the biggest audience you can and pour something in. Serve the people right in front of you. Lead the ones that are already in your audience. Do that well and grow yourself along the way, and you'll find you have not only a bigger influence, but a deeper, longer lasting, more genuine, and more powerful influence that will become a legacy. Maybe by the time you pass, you'll only lead 12 people. But if you can lead 12 people, that later leads hundreds of millions over 2,000 years, you might consider yourself a success. I'm just saying. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith,